talk about this situation that has recently went down between Tim Pool and Adam Conover, who I guess apparently Adam is an actor and a writer. I don't know who this guy is, but apparently he's somebody that's famous, right? And this discussion, I think, perfectly illustrates where the left is, because I've had a similar conversation to what you're about to hear Tim Pool have with Adam here. And I want to get into it a little bit and talk about it, because this is just absolutely ridiculous. But with that being said, let's dive in.
Has a whim, right. And people
do you remember,
forgets.
Do you remember the story in the tariffs where they claimed that Trump was tariffing an island only inhabited by penguins?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But you know that's not true, right?
Okay.
So this is the challenge we face communication-wise. There are a couple islands that operate companies but don't have a living population that we do import from. So Trump imposed a tariff on any region that he could. That was the point, closing loopholes. The corporate press, like Newsweek, CNN, they all, and prominent liberal personalities started running this lie that Donald Trump was tariffing a island with only penguins on it, which is, we call that factual but not truthful.
There's businesses that are on this island.
Fishing refineries, and they do ship products to the island as corporations, and then when they're done, they transport them to the United States. Trump wants a tariff on anyone who's trying to use that island loophole. But instead, the media just claimed he was so stupid and didn't think about his plan. And I'm like, why don't you just say you don't like the tariffs? I don't know why you have to make up that weird story.
Well, I mean, everything about them was senseless. This was simply the silliest detail without.
But that's what discredits the actual argument. Look, I think the universal tariffs were a bad idea. I think selective tariffs on like particular products on nations can make sense, especially like Canada or China. Universal tariffs seemed like a scatter shot that was going to cause more problems in the short term.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that. Nobody fucking cares. The right goes, interesting point, Tim, but our problem is the left is lying about what he's doing. And then I go to the left and they go, you're wrong, our story is right. And I'm like, but that's not true. It's this shit all over again of the first Trump term of, quote, stop making me defend Trump was the trope, where Trump would do something that was like, I wonder why I did that. The left would then lie about what he did. And when we come out and say, but he didn't do that, they'd say, stop defending Trump. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like the very fine people hoax, the the koi fish hoax, the fucking injecting bleach stuff. It's like, bro, Donald Trump dumped food into a fish pond after Shinzo Abe did. Why are you trying to make that a negative story?
I don't even know what that
it was like,
talking about there.
It's all of these hoaxes. The very fine people hoax.
I mean, I remember the line. Yeah,
Trump never called Nazis fine people.
He said there were very fine people on both sides,
except the neo-Nazis and white nationalists who should be condemned totally.
He said that.
Holy shit, brother!
I don't live in your bubble, man. You
don't live in the fucking news, dude. Come the fuck on. You don't read the fucking news. This is what fucking blows my mind.
No, I just don't have your obsessions.
No, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. Bro, it's been almost 10 years and you still think he did. That's what's fucked up.
I didn't say I think he did. I just don't know what you're talking about because I don't listen to your shit.
It's not about listening to my shit, bro. It's reading the news. It's fact-checking. Bro, I got Snopes for you. They're not a conservative publication. Even Snopes was like, guys, stop saying this.
I don't know why you're shouting at me. I was just asking you to explain.
Because the issue we have, and I apologize, because I'm not trying to shout at you. I'm shouting in exasperation that we've had two liberals on in the past 2 weeks who didn't know this. And I'm just like, for the love of all is holy, all I do all day is I read probably 500 news articles every single day from CNN, the New York Times, MSNBC, and all their aggregates. And then liberals come on and they believe things that were debunked 8 years ago.
I didn't say I believed it. I was just asking what you were talking about.
You didn't know this.
Yeah, I don't know everything that you know.
But this is what Biden launched his campaign on. Biden made a public announcement to launch his presidency in 2020 off of this lie. And you didn't know that. 5 years later.
I don't know why you're getting on me about this, but
again, I apologize. I'm not trying to get on you. It's the exasperation largely with liberals. Like, this is when this happened, and like the Covington kids hoax. You remember that one? Kids on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial back, this is 7 years ago. And
and the kid that was smirking or whatever.
The Native American guy goes up in his face, banging a drum.
Yeah.
And CNN gets sued over it. All these outlets, all these journalists were pushing this lie. And I was just thinking to myself,
Resistance 1.0 stuff was cringy, sure, yeah.
But I mean, here we are today. We had a journalist on. She's a Brooklyn journalist, and I thought she was very nice. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but she was like, no, Trump did this. And we're just like, I don't understand how we've come to this point where There are so many stories like the Penguin Island hoax, Very Fine People hoax, Covington injecting bleach, Maryland Man. It's like the media just lies and the liberals believe all of it.
Look, man,
I forgot who said it, but there was a video of a gentleman who talked about that very thing. There will come. He some of you will probably recall what video I'm talking about. I believe the video was like in black and white. But anyway, he talked about there will come a time where you will be able to show someone a video in front of their face and they still won't believe you because of what the media told them. And I believe that's where a lot of people on the left are, unfortunately, because for so long, these folks have lied. For example, the Very Fine People hoax.
You have it? Okay, I'm being told we have it. Thank you. Run it, please.
Excuse me, to protest. Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
That was President Trump saying that very fine people were marching alongside neo-Nazis and skinheads and white supremacists.
That's what Jake Tapper reported on. That was President Trump saying that there were very fine people on both sides. And that wasn't the only time that he went live on air and said that. But if you play the entire clip, which I'm about to do once again, that's genuinely not what he said. Or it's not the complete statement of what he said.
Left and white supremacists on the same moral plane.
I'm not putting anybody on a moral plane. What I'm saying is this. You had a group on one side and you had a group on the other, and they came at each other with clubs, and it was vicious, and it was horrible, and it was a horrible thing to watch. But there is another side. There was a group on this side, you can call them the left, you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. So you can say what you want, but that's the way it is.
On both sides, sir, you said there was hatred, there was violence on both sides.
Well, I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides. You look at both sides. I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either. And if you reported it accurately, you would say.
Kill the person. Heather hired
Charlottesville. They showed up in Charlottesville to protest.
Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
Robert E. Lee are not the same.
Well, no, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down, are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now, we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history. You're changing culture. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits and with the helmets and with the baseball bats. You had a lot of bad people in the other group too.
I mean, how many times do we have to play that clip before it like gets into people's heads? Like, bro, that's not what he said. If you play the entire clip, you would understand that he literally came out and said, I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists because they should be condemned totally. That came right out of his mouth. But of course, people like Jake Tapper, amongst others, right? Because he's not the only one, but there are others who run this fake story and clip the video and don't allow you to see the entire video. I mean, look, just look at this.
This is a president who said there were, quote, very fine people on both sides in a Charlottesville neo-Nazi Klan march in Charlottesville, and his infamous reference to very fine people. There were, quote, very fine people on both sides of that Charlottesville, Virginia march. And candidate Trump, I tried to get him 3 times to condemn David Duke. He wouldn't do it.
Well, you've got David Duke just joined.
a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
A lot of people think that he has a soft spot in his heart for, or at least won't condemn, white supremacists.
As I said on Saturday, we condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans. We are a nation founded on the truth that all of us are created equal.
And there's this big effort by Trump supporters to pretend that the president didn't say what he said, to call this all a hoax.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists.
We don't despise these folks enough. He didn't go on national television and say it once, not even twice, probably not even 3 times. He said it more than 3 times on national television that Trump said that there were very fine people on both sides, and that's all he said. Which technically he did say that. But he also said, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists because they should be condemned totally. Now, why won't they say the entire statement and they only take a little clip? Once again, more proof that our mainstream media lies by omission. They give you a piece of the story that fits the narrative that they want to paint, and they leave out the rest that refutes it. They gave just that short little clip of Trump saying there were fine people on both sides and took out the rest, where he clearly condemned white supremacy and white nationalists. He even lied about the whole David Duke thing. I tried to get him to condemn David Duke. He never has. Yeah, he has. We saw the clip. Goodness gracious, man. But that is why mainstream media ratings are at an all-time low. And I'm happy about it. They can all sink to the very bottom. I don't care. If mainstream media went bankrupt tomorrow, I'd probably celebrate, to be honest with you. To be completely honest, I genuinely would celebrate. But anyway, thanks for tuning in as always. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Peace and love. I'm out.